world, and say why music. Hello world, and say why music, and you can roll with it or refuse it. I say hey, way to the world, this is my day. Something like BK, have it my way. This is my time, I'ma shine so high.
I love this show.
I love this show. He is clearly he's clearly AY young, and he's obviously on a farm.
And he be the one them call Timo Peach.
Hey man. And this is, what is this?
The Global Goals Music Roadshow.
Yes, it is, my friend.
Yeah, totally. Like, dude, this show is designed, to empower you to change, your world with us and shape a healthier future for the planet. Our mission is literally to turn the world, right? That's like people, charities, companies, influencers, right, on social media. That's the world to me, or as I like to call them, humans or outlets. Humans are outlets into this battery to charge, empower change. Using the universal language of music.
Yes, we have the universal language of music. Now, I'm in the UK, he's in the US, and we're both musicians and creatives passionate about encouraging positive change. We found our passion, our confidence, our voices through mucking about with art and music. And this is some of his music.
Oh, booyah.
Hey, I just want to dance, and she ain't got no man. Make you some mama see the baby, put me in a trance, okay. Hey, just hit the dance floor, then hit the dance floor on the lane.
Powered by renewable energy, that was underlay. But this is some of Timo's music. Who's pretty cool at music.
From holds to breaks, all it takes is an unfortunate series of small mistakes. Home run, high time, super trudge. All it takes is a little nudge. Just a little.
Oh my gosh, you look so cool. No, we're battling. Here's more of my music.
I tell my story. I know you feel it.
Yeah.
All right. This is on, mate.
Nostalgia like crack addicts enter, looking back on where all our ways goes. We guess somebody knows now nothing's as it used to be, 'cause it's never about you or me. And joy and in grief I can feel the relief too.
That's probably enough of that. We could do this all day.
I know. Well, dude, why are we even freaking here, bro? Like,
because we have found our passion, our voice, our confidence through doing that. Because we're now asking you, what is your passion? Because passion,
not what is in your wallet.
Not what's in your wallet. What's your passion? Because passion is where change starts.
Totally. And we believe everyone on the planet, right, is an outlet for change. That's you, me, the big corporations, all of us. And it doesn't matter like how big or how small we are. Like we're on this mission to get the whole world, plugged in. The battery tour is an outlet for you, everyone listening, to plug in and connect to your passion, no matter who you are, right? We hope to inspire you to do two things. Power this tour, right? Support this change and do one thing differently. Take one action because you can.
Because you can. Power the tour, do one thing. Now, AY is the young leader to the UN for the US, if you didn't know. He's been changing the world by getting out and actually walking the walk, charging it with 100% renewable battery power energy, the Battery Tour, which presents this show. And I'm basically here to kind of just give him tea at the top of the show. So would you like some of this week's brew, sir?
I'd like more.
Yes.
Oh, this is so hard. Oh, from across the pond.
From across the pond. There we are. Oh, there we are. Yes, that's lovely. And I don't know what died in there, but it should be fine.
There was so much more than that.
Do you think we should maybe meet our guests this week? We have a packed show for you tonight.
Crap, we have guests.
We do. I know we can't just muck around the whole time, my friend, even though we could. This is the Global Goals Music Roadshow, if you've just tuned in. And we like to ask at about this time.
Timo! We have such a terrible production team, guys. Hey, guys, get the freaking thing going.
The production team are fired. That's it. They're history. They're out of it. We like to ask.
Global Goals guests from the east to the west. I said, can you guess where the Global Goals guests are from this week? Because they could be basically from anywhere.
I mean, yeah, dude, like pretty much anywhere.
Who have
you do 191?
Yep, definitely. First up, we have Sarah.
Hey.
Oh, gosh.
Welcome, Sarah.
And second off, we have someone that's super close to my heart and one of the coolest people I've ever met in this journey of Battery Tour. The one and only Olivia, honey.
Olivia! Firstly, welcome to both of you to the Global Goals Music Roadshow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Olivia, where in the world are you?
I am in northern New Jersey, right across the river from New York City.
And I'm based in Los Angeles, but I'm originally from kind of that area.
Very cool. So you're there, aren't you? You're at top and bottom, left and right of the US.
Totally.
Amazing. And AY, you're bang in the middle in KC.
Kansas City, Missouri. Y'all super chill. They're like so cool. Look at the backgrounds. Oh my gosh. Hello, guys. Hello. Yeah.
Now, we also have one other guest with us tonight, don't we? And I'd quite like to present kind of show reels of everyone we ever have on, but we've now sacked our production team, so they can't do it. Bring back the production team. It's fine. We've got some videos for you.
Honestly, yeah. I think Zach's pissed at you, bro. I would stop saying it. So.
Definitely.
I wish we had a Zach, guys.
Our next guest is here tonight because of a particular event, and we can all end up talking about this, I think. And so we're going to run VT to introduce our third guest on the Global Goals.
Oh my gosh, she's that special. This lady has it going on, guys. Welcome to the Global Goals Show. Hit it!
Golly gosh,
I've been dancing a while.
That music cue is not taking any prisoners, is it? That was great. Our third guest tonight on show 19 of the GG show is Maggie. Welcome, Maggie. Maggie, that's quite some theme music you've got there.
Yes, I know. It's super fun. Well, I'm not a musician, so I can only borrow from great musicians. And yeah, that'll get you going.
It definitely will. And where in the world are you, Maggie?
Portland, Oregon. So we got now the top left corner of the US covered. So we just need somebody from Florida, I guess.
Somebody in Florida would be next. We got some friends in Florida, and we can get somebody on, I'm sure.
Totally.
Indeed.
Oh my
Welcome
gosh,
to the
like
show.
welcome. Yeah, and like maybe we start with you, Maggie, because what do you like? What do you do? Like, who are you? What do you do, man? Tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's a pleasure to be here. And I guess the one thing I'd love to clarify is entrepreneur is spelled with an I. So we all know about entrepreneurs and Steve Jobs, and we tell the stories of people that start up their companies, these miraculous successes, these horrible failures of entrepreneurship. But what we very little talk about are the people inside existing organizations that are developing the new. And in this case, the global goals, who inside either the music industry, right? Or within a global corporation like Coca-Cola or Barclays, or maybe you work for city government, but it's about that idea of applying the entrepreneurial spirit within your organization to make change from within. So I set up a global organization of entrepreneurs so they can learn and support each other and have more impact through this whole pathway of entrepreneurship.
That's such a great word, the League of Entrepreneurs, as well as the organization you set up. We're going to learn more about that. And it's Entrepreneur Week, basically, Global Entrepreneur Week, isn't it?
Yes, it's a whole
Amazing.
week celebrating change from within. Exactly.
That's fantastic. Right, we'll come back to that. Sarah, you are a singer-songwriter, correct? And a recording artist.
Yeah, I do that. But I'm at AY street performing back in the day, I guess.
Oh, back in the day. Oh my gosh, we literally met. Oh yeah, you were at Burbank. Like she was just set up with her nice little setup, and she does these songs, and she's incredible. That's when we met.
Yeah, that's where we met. It was like in the middle of the summer. It was really hot. But I guess now I've kind of moved more online because of the world, but starting to get back into person and make projects and release stuff and everything.
And you said you went to the City of Angels and it taught you things. It worked you hard, didn't it? You've earned your chops as a performer.
Yeah, it has to kick your butt first, and then you have to like kind of let it kick your butt and be like, oh, okay, all right, you got this, all right, I can handle it. And then once you get through that,
right,
and you keep going, you're pretty good.
And like Timo, let me go ahead, bro. I
was just going to say, I wonder whether kicking butt is going to be a theme tonight that sort of comes out of all our stories a bit. What were you going to say, man?
Totally, I like that. No, I was gonna like this whole idea of like intro, like isn't that like going in or from within? That's inside, right, Maggie? Okay, yeah. And I was thinking about you, Sarah. I think you're over here. Yeah, like with the street performing, and like it does kick your butt, but you really have to come like from inside. You have to find the reason why, right? Because it's like you can be out there performing for 5 hours and no one gives you $1, and it's like you really within have to find that like I guess interest spirit, right? Of like why I'm doing this, and that makes me think of you, Olivia, in the sense of like all the things you've been through, and the fact that like you're one of the most you people I've ever met. Like tell people like about who you are. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Wow. So I don't really know where to start. I'll try to keep it concise. So I always get like a little nervous when people ask me like, so tell me what you do.
But that's because you've got so much that you've done. You've done so many things. You're such a rich creative.
Let it all out, ladies. We're at a dinner table. There's no properness here.
So the thing is this, if you would have asked me like 6 years ago when I was 26, if you would have asked me then, tell me who you are, I would have told you I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a poet. But shortly after that time, when I got diagnosed with aggressive breast cancer, I got stripped of all those things. I got stripped of all those titles. And the reason I say I got stripped of all those titles is because I didn't realize that the things that I did wasn't who I am. Those were things that I did. And it really humbled me down, because there was a period for about a year where I wasn't able to do many of those things. And I was very lost in thinking that what I did was who I am. And I identified being a dancer with who I am. I identified my beauty as my worth, because being in an industry, and maybe some of you can relate, especially being in such a an industry where like your looks have a lot to do with your validation. But I identified like the way I looked and the way I performed and the way, how many likes I got with like who I was. But being stripped of all those things, having both of my breasts completely chopped off at 26, and losing my hair and losing my eyebrows and just losing so many things. And sometimes like looking in the mirror and literally feeling like, ugh, like there wasn't much on the outside that like really made me feel beautiful. And so I had to dig like really deep into my spirit to figure out things that like made me ask some tough questions, like, who are you, Olivia, if you're not your hair and you're not your breasts and you're not able to like deliver these things. Like I was just asking too many things of my body that my body couldn't deliver. And so to answer your question, who am I? I am a child of God. That's who I am. And I am a spiritual being who loves to help other people heal, and who loves to help other people connect through platforms of both pain and joy, because I think we all go through the same things. Wow. And if we can do it in a beautiful way, then that's amazing. But I think to negate the fact that like suffering is also a part of that would be to deny ourselves a part of our humanity. And I think COVID was like a really big wake-up call for people to understand that, like, you know, it's not always going to look a certain way. It's not always going to feel a certain way, but that's okay, because we're going to be pressed and we're going to be pushed. And that process purifies us to allow us to say, but you know what, I can still show up in the world and figure out like, I'm not just this one thing. Yeah. And so that's a really long answer, but I'm grateful to be here. And like sometimes you'll get other versions of yourself that show up, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and you've really shown up, because you look more showbiz than any of us, despite having come from Gizmo earlier. So you're still teaching us, you know, what's really on the inside. Now, if I might jump in, I'm going to quote you something here, Olivia. You said something I thought was wonderful and really pertinent to our show. You said in one of your videos, great art hits us in a place that allows us to move past whatever our current reality is and keep dreaming and keep fighting. Yeah. That's what how has art helped you get past your reality, perhaps each day? Yeah, I remember saying that, and it was my second time going through cancer. I'm going through my third round right now, but it was my second time, and it was actually the first time I actually felt scared because it had metastasized to my bones. And that was the first time I was like, oh, it hit me. And I would say I'm a woman of faith. So I have faith to believe that like we serve a God who heals. But even with being faithful to that promise, I was still scared. And I was laying in my bed and I was sick and I was weak. But I remember watching this video, this dance video from a choreographer, Galen Hooks. If you don't know her, look her up. She is fierce. And I was just completely like lethargic in my bed. And I watched this dance video, and these women were like so fierce and so powerful. And they were like dancing, and the music was like just ripping me out of my bed. And I was like,
that's it. I'm gonna dance again.
Yes.
And I did. And I think that's what like art does to us. It will rip us out of like that place where we are, and it will allow us to go to that next level. And there's there's a poet that I really love, Najwa Zebian, and she said, feelings are like visitors. You know, they come, they visit us, they sit down with us, and we can have tea with them, but they have to leave again. You know, and it's like you're allowed to be sad, you're allowed to be in a dark place, but like don't stay there. You know,
That's
and
awesome.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you got me thinking of a lot. Like, first of all, Olivia, take a second. Woo! You're such
sorry.
she's a motivational, but she's awesome. I'm taking a second. My heart's like I'm an empath, so I feel everything. Like, I want to say this though. It like, this that idea. It's interesting you brought up, and when this is the Global Goals Music Roadshow. So hey, if anybody tune in, yes, this is the Global Goals Music Roadshow. There are so many people that are dropping so many comments. Here's Elizabeth, who bless her, she helped with the back tour, says this rings true throughout history. As that's an awesome comment. Oh my gosh, you can read on your screen. I saw something from Julia. I saw something from a David Bentley. Like your message is touching people. But my thought is like when you talk about like art, almost like your phrase about art made me think about like almost like using art as a weapon, right? Or a way to not only keep your dreams alive and keep fighting, but to make progress. Like Maggie, you're someone who and Sarah, please hop in. Like you're someone who's using art essentially. Musicians, you're bringing together people. And on the business end, you're adding that creativity angle to like how corporates move and how things are done. Like talk, like you want to harp on like art in general and like the use of that in your space.
I mean, I first just want to acknowledge Liv, like thank you for sharing that. It's so moving to hear your story, and yeah, just thank you. The work that we do fundamentally is about how we create more human spaces in organizations and in our workplaces. So that's what I feel is connecting to what Liv is bringing, is this sense of our shared humanity. I think we've gotten into such a place where it's us and them, or I go into work and it's work. Some reason I leave so much of myself at the door. I don't talk about the fact I have cancer or children or whatever. There's this personal life. Maybe I'm active in my community, but all of that stuff remains outside of my day job. And it's so limiting and often can be really harmful, both to our communities, because we're not taking into account our values when we're making new products and decisions, but also to ourselves, because we're living this disconnected life. We're not in alignment with who we are. Wow. And we're more than our job. I think that's what Livy just said. I'm more than what I do.
Yeah.
I have a spirit. So how can we, in the more kind of mundane world of work, where many of our members work in cubicles and what have you, how can we come in those places in more human, caring, compassionate ways? So that's fundamentally what entrepreneurship is about for us at the League and for me.
And that's the story of sustainability, isn't it? That it's about connecting things and finding more, not just more well-being, but more passion by seeing the way things fit together, seeing a bigger picture. Sarah, exactly. You're quite an advocate for mental health, aren't you? In your creative work.
Going back on what Liv was saying and everything. For me, I guess I mentioned LA kicking my butt, and like the move was hard, and then just like I moved out here blindly, and there was all this stuff that kind of just went down in between that personally, figuring out how to like adult at the same time.
Yeah, we're all doing that.
Yeah. Good times. And then,
right, bro.
Like we all go through it. So like for me, I went through it, and then I ended up like living on my own for the first time, like in my own spot where I could hear myself think finally. Wow. And like figure out myself and who I was, and I feel like that's always a work in progress, because we go through changes, and like change is pain, which equals growth, is how I see it, going back on those things. So it's kind of like if you want to live you need to embrace the possibility that there's going to be pain, because we always have growing pains. And someone said that to me one time, and I was like, oh, like that really stuck to me. But it's
That's
like
awesome.
how we focus our attention to it and how we react to it is everything. And so sometimes we don't even know that we're not actually consciously reacting to it. We're unconsciously reacting to it based off of what we were told growing up, our experiences. And so it's like taking that, not ignoring it or shying away from it, but like taking that, owning that, being like, okay, I went through that, but does that serve me now? And like, so as we change, it's like always asking that question, that part of me, does that serve me? Or is that something that someone gave me and told me that it served me, but it actually doesn't? And like, there's a lot of that with that mental health. Sorry, my cat really wants to say.
No, I
This is
love
Pepper.
that thought of mental health. Yes, sir. Yes. Oh, Timo,
Yes.
we hold on.
Are we getting
shoot.
that?
Oh shoot. Oh yeah.
What goal are you most plugged into? Seriously, we need to know what goal you like.
We're a little late on that, bro. Let's
This
go.
is
Rapid fire. 10 seconds. Let's go. Let's start with Sarah Lightman. What goal are you most plugged into? Let's go.
So health and well-being for sure, because of it's not just about the outside, it's about that inside, like the entrepreneurship, because the inside and the outside have to go together because we're stuck in our body with ourselves.
Yeah, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all ages, and that's goal number 3, I think, for those who are playing Global Goals Monopoly. Sarah, what goal do you feel most aligned with?
Yeah, so that one for sure. Health and well-being, number 3. Because that goes into the mental health. And though I could say like all the other goals kind of tie into that, you know, all the things on the outside also do influence the inside. So like clean water, energy, all those things, like that all it's like the outside and the inside, you know, we coexist with it. So what's going on the inside can reflect the outside, but the outside can also influence the inside. So it's like really interesting how that is. And so I put a lot of my experiences of pain and growth and stuff into my music, but I also am open to putting in the joyful things too, because it's like we get to a place where if we ignore that pain and we don't want to feel it, we shove it down, that anger, we don't know how to deal with it because we see it in such an aggressive, unhealthy light. We get stuck in a cycle, and then you can't feel joy. And like I've been there where I couldn't feel joy because I had to feel that pain, but I didn't know how to feel it, didn't know how to cope with it. So that's what I like to put into my music, is sharing those experiences. So people who might feel like what I'm going through in their moment of life that might be similar to mine, they can be like, oh, yeah, she does that too. Like, I'm not alone, but also like she got through it, or she's getting through it. She's still fighting through it. I can do it too.
Still fighting through it. And the inside, the outside, they're all connected. That's what we always say each week. This question's a trick question because they're all just different expressions of a connected outlook. Maggie, though, as a framework for thought, which is how we use the SDGs, which goal are you most plugged into?
Well, 17, the partnerships for the goals, and this partnership and collaboration with you, AY, has just been awesome. Bringing all sorts of partners. We can't do this on our own, right? Like, we need to reach out and to really unlikely allies. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Partnerships is a big one for you, my man, isn't it? An important goal.
It totally is. I mean, when we're getting to the project, I want to hear what you have to say about like what goal you care about the most, Olivia. But like partnership, maybe we'll show a little bit of the song, and I can talk about Project 17 because that's what I started with, Maggie, to make this happen. So Olivia, like, what goal are you plugged into? Oh shoot!
I believe it's number 2, and that was what is it?
Hunger.
Hunger?
Right?
Yeah, I want to
hunger.
Say it correctly. Yeah, hunger. I actually just heard I believe it's an article the other day that they're saying that world hunger could potentially be solved by 2030 if we strategize properly. And I did something called Project 30 with my church like a year ago, where we created care packages to go out and like feed the homeless. But what was so interesting about that was that we didn't just do food. Like, we gave the homeless food, and we also gave them, like, you know, toiletries and other things like that, as well as giving them Bibles. You know, the Bible says that man does not live on bread alone. And this kind of ties into what Sarah said, because it's like, it's not just feeding the bodies, it's also feeding the spirit, you know, and that also goes with partnership. So it's like, I know that one is specifically talking about food, but if you think about so many times, like, why people are in the situation, because my whole thing is like getting to the root of things, like, why are people there? Why are people hungry? You know, and of course there's some situations that are absolutely like, you know, have to do with like the government and people in third world countries, which is out of their control, you know. But in other circumstances, like alcohol, drugs, mental illness, things like that, it's like we have to get to the root of things. So
get to the root of things. I agree, and that's another sign of understanding that things are connected, a holistic view. AY, you connected kind of loads of issues with the Project 17, haven't you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's so cool because like with like, so I don't know. I know Maggie knows a lot about like what we're doing here with this Project 17, and partly why we have, you know, this show. But essentially, it's a lot of the concepts that you guys are talking about. But I'll be honest, when I first saw the goals, I did what you know, what I think Sarah was saying this, or Maggie, in the intra thing. I looked inside and I looked for my passion. Right. And Project 17 is really all about that. It's connecting all of humanity with their passions to a goal. Right. And so, I mean, that's literally what I'm doing is I'm making the world's first, you know, sustainable album, and one song for each goal. But we're plugging in, you know, influencer, company, corporation, you know, artist, influencer, you know, into the goal that they care about, right? Because I think passion at the forefront is what is going to motivate change. And I think art and music is huge, but I also think we all have to be connected and plugged in to each other, right, Timo? Like, for real.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. Because what we want to do on this show is an expression of that battery tour and the Project 17 is kind of collapse the hierarchies. Collapse the hierarchies, mate. You know, the outlets for change are all of us, and a group of people can be an outlet, an individual can be. So we'd have anybody and everybody on the show, whatever their profile, and all of you know kind of how useful, but also how meaningless a profile can be, depending on what you're trying to do. We're just people trying to live wholer lives. AY, did you want to share a bit about your journey as a UN guy?
Yeah, I knew exactly what you're going to say. I'm like, yeah, totally. I can share everything. No, you know what's crazy is on this journey of like 10 years of getting the world plugged in and bringing people together. Like, people don't know that's what I've been trying to do. And Olivia, I'll never forget us eating dinner or breakfast or wherever the heck that was in New York City on this battery tour journey. But this is guy like, yo, I just want to show you guys a little bit of what made it happen. You know, took us there. You know, here we go.
A local hip-hop artist makes an international name for himself. He is the first artist to power his concert with 100% renewable energy.
It is a real honor to recognize Mr. A.Y. Young, the founder of Battery Tour.
It's incredible. Can't wait for you to see this. The United Nations is now throwing its support behind him.
Mr. Young has made a big impact in his young life, born in 1991. He's a singer-songwriter, a dancer, producer, entrepreneur, and sustainability advocate. He's staged and performed more than 800 concerts. He was named by the United Nations recently as one of 17 youth world leaders of the world, the only individual selected for that honor from the United States.
Forward to stimulating this local economy further, bringing entrepreneurs together, bringing businesses together, bringing the world together so we can make some change.
I'm AY with the Battery Tour, and we're here in Honduras. It's
beautiful. We're going to bring power, solar energy, medical supplies, reading glasses, all those things to the people of Honduras. Yeah, mama.
If it's true.
The Global Girls Music Roadshow International News Bulletin. Brought to you by top correspondent Timo McNewsface.
Hello and welcome to the International News Bulletin of the Global Girls Music Roadshow with me, Timo McNewsface. And I'm joined today by a special correspondent in the field to discuss the topic of the country of Romania, which has pledged to completely stop using coal power by the middle of the decade. And yes, I am joined by a local farmer. Yes, local farmer, are you there?
Hello. I'm out here on my farm, getting things done, fishing, cooking, all that stuff.
That's great. Very connected to the land. So presumably you have some fairly strong feelings about the removal of coal from the carbon power system.
Actually, I kind of need my down the lane. So why we got to get rid of it?
Well, yes. I mean, obviously there was an occasion when coal was made many countries superpowers, including Britain, in the 19th century. But it is, yes, it's obviously quite bad Wi-Fi in a field, actually. Yes, so you're very connected to the land for your work. How do you feel about? Yes, do please go on.
Yeah, I'm connected. I feel a lot about this sustainability stuff. My family done grown. We got 3 farms. We got multiple acres. And I'm just trying to do it right and tap into some of that money because there's a lot of sustainability money.
Right. Yes. Grants and so forth. I see. And what are your sustainability initiatives?
What? Well, we try to grow our own food. We do it all ourselves. We raise the beds right off the ground. We do our own food. We feed the community too. I feed the community. I'm one of them environmentalists, born and raised.
Are you really? Yes, that's interesting.
I like what y'all doing on this show. I hope I can come on a little bit. You know, maybe sell my stuff. You know, you got a little audience. You know, and I care a little bit about them goals. You know, so
yes,
I just want to call in and say hello. You know.
Yeah, no, and we do appreciate it on the Global Goals Music Roadshow because everybody is an outlet for change. If you could work up a sort of nifty bit of vertical farming for next time, sound a bit more metro, I'm sure our viewers would appreciate that. We seem to be losing.
I'll go out there and show you the animals and all that. Thank you so much. You're a cutie too, Timo. You're a real cutie.
Yes, that's great, and every compliment greatly received. Thank you very much. That was a local farmer live from the field, and this has been the Global Girls Music Roadshow International News Bulletin with me, Timo McNewsface.
The Global Girls Music Roadshow International News Bulletin, brought to you by top correspondent Timo McNewsface.
Well, as ever, I don't know how much light was shed there exactly, but it's always good to see.
Leaders, dreamers, let's go. They always take the right away, leave the bill and make you pay. We can change the world. Is that a lie they told us? We can change the world. We'll shine a light back on us. We can change the world. So we've got to come together now. We've got to come together now.
Wait, what is that? Is that only my new favourite AY Young song?
Maybe, sort of, kind of.
Mate, I love that new song, and that's from 17, isn't it?
Totally straight from it. All about what you love. Partnerships, Maggie. Hello. Hey, that farmer was cool you had on there today. That's a whole another character.
Yeah.
What's going on? That
Don't know
guy's
who he
crazy.
was.
No, totally. I like the view. You should bring him more and more often, man.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe he'll get dressed next time. I don't know.
He might have had like a shirt that he wanted to wear, like that said Jesus Christ on it, but it couldn't find it. Probably that's just the word through the grapevine, bro. Like, you know.
I'm guessing so. Plus, it is warm out in the field when you're working, like it's warm in Portland at the moment, isn't it? Maybe
It's probably hard for that guy to hop on so quickly because like people's transitions are not. Anyway,
yes.
Welcome to this Global Goals Music. We got so many people. Like, look, watch out. It's good. So many people. That's so great. This conversation has been so interesting. Like, I just want to hear thoughts. Like, you guys are amazing. Like, Timo, like, I don't even know what to say because these are three incredible women that, like, I'm like, I want 2 hours each.
Yes, I agree, man. I agree. All of you know what it's like to climb a mountain and get your ass kicked and not give up and find ways to kind of make a more holistic view of things, and that makes each of you inspiring. It's been lovely putting you all together tonight. I just made a general statement. Nobody knows what to say to that.
I know. Well,
I'm like this with toddlers.
Thanks for having us. I mean, like, kudos to the artists on the call. When I think about some of the partnerships I feel are going to be most effective, it is that, bringing creativity. The story, Liv, that you shared about being inspired by that dance video, right? It touches it, it connects us to our humanity. So I think this is such important work that you're all doing in terms of, building that connection to just all of us. I think that if we learned anything this year through COVID, is that we can't wait for the government to show up or somebody else to come and fix this stuff. We all have an opportunity to step up and step out and make a difference, whatever that looks like, wherever you're standing. And some of the most inspiring stories in our community are folks that, were working in a warehouse and saw a problem and were, stepped in, or came from a township in Johannesburg and ended up in working for a major corporation. And how can I give back to my community? So there's so many different pathways in. It just takes kind of connecting, as you're saying, with like that fire in the belly, that passion. And then just making a first step and knowing that you're not alone.
Yes.
There's people around the world, like these amazing women like you and AY, that are doing this. And we don't have a grand plan. That's the other thing. It's like nobody has a grand plan when they start. They just take a first step. People rise when you invite them. I think that's the most beautiful thing. If you step in and you say, hey, could we? It's amazing the kind of support. People want to be invited to be more than their job title at work, right?
People rise when invited, and people want to be more than their job title. Amen.
Absolutely. And just like to you, AY, that meetup that we had after we met at the UN, it was at cafeteria. I remember. I have a pretty good memory. We went, we had dinner, and I remember being invited to the UN, and I got invited through this lady that I met, like, super by chance. And I was so nervous because I was like, I'm such an artist, and I'm like, how the heck did I get invited to the UN? I remember being like, Mom, what do I wear? I do not own a suit. And I show up and I see AY standing outside in these bright red sneakers. And I'm like, can you take a picture of me? Because you look like an artist too. He had on
that was how we first met. Oh my gosh.
He had on this big hat and these bright red sneakers, and we totally hit it off. And we wound up going to share a meal after. But I do have a point to this story. So I remember us going to have a meal, and I asked you, I was like, how did you get involved in the type of work that you're doing? And you had shared with me that you were going from like city to city to city to city in your car, just literally like unpacking your speakers and your batteries and, getting children and adults and singing and dancing and like hustling. Video that I made, I was like, don't wait for anyone to hand you a mic. Just do it. Like, if it's in your heart, do it. If it's in your spirit, do it. And so, like, I just want to, publicly like commend you, from the day I met you all the way to now. Like, you have just been going after the desires of your heart, and I really am like so proud of you. So just keep going, and that's like a message for all of us. Like, I don't know the rest of you that well on this show, but I mean, it sounds like you're all amazing people. But I think that's like something that we all have to strive for. Like, don't wait for anyone to hand you that mic, and like there's always something we can do, even if it's from our bedroom.
Yeah, don't wait for anyone to hand you the mic. Don't think it takes
Yo, what's
so
up,
many
Dion? How you
followers.
doing, bro?
Don't think it takes so many
I know,
followers.
real talk,
Don't think
Timo.
you have to wait till everything's
Right
perfect.
now?
If it's in your
Oh,
heart, if
shoot.
it's in your spirit, he's going, isn't he?
Timo, hold on one second. Dion, what'd you say, bro?
I was just doing a nice speech. I was going to segue into
I
something.
literally, I forgot to tell you, dude.
I was building up a head of steam. It was going somewhere emotional.
We got to go now, though, right? I mean, is he down? Hey, yo, Brian, you ready?
Yeah, I know. There's a recording studio in the basement where you are at the farm there, but just
guys,
2
I
minutes.
love you guys, dude. Olivia is so Timo.
Yeah, but
we got to hit it. I'm sorry, bro. I got to go to the studio.
Yeah,
dude,
it was all coming together. There was a moment happening. Well, showbiz change makers. Hey. That's the life of A.Y. Young. He doesn't stop. He's packing the car. He's on to the next thing. He's getting called by Billie Eilish. He is literally meeting her next week, I think, at last.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. So, he's been whisked away again. Actually, I was about to say we're probably about to see the spinny chair of his speed, but of course he's not in the studio, so we quite sadly denied the spinny chair this week, which is a great shame. Look, the three of you, it's been lovely to meet you. It's been very special to put you all together. What I was going to segue to very quickly, Sarah, was to you, that idea that Olivia was so beautifully putting forward. Don't wait for somebody to hand you a mic, take it. Would you say that doing street work is where has that toughened you up to be able to just take the mic and speak and kind of take your confidence with you anywhere?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's definitely part of it. I had to there were things that happened in my life where I had to be like, no, this is what I'm gonna do, and like, you don't have control over that decision. I've had that. But yeah, I had a lot of bad stage fright and just caring so much about doing a good job. And then when I went out to the street and no one cares, it makes it, you're like, oh, okay, the pressure's off. So that really did help with that. And it just helped me be more bold and like try things and step outside of my comfort zone. Cause like when you're in your comfort zone, like unless you're sitting on something comfy, like it's not going to benefit you. So
it's not, is it? No, exactly. And I was going to say, as we wrap up, what would you all like to leave our viewers with? I'm going to say for you, Sarah, actually, of course, your new album's out, which is Interlude.
Yeah,
I knew
so
that, but my head goes out.
Oh yeah, that came out right before the pandemic, but it's still counted as new because like I didn't get to market it because the world turned upside down.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll call it new.
Great. And how would you describe your sound?
It's kind of like a pop sound with a soulful, like genuine kind of a vibe where it's like I don't really use a lot of effects to cover up or add too much. I just like kind of like, I'm just like, this is me. So
lovely. Now, I did sort of call you out before we get to your last two on Twitter. I just said, hey, yeah, Sarah's just going to play us out while I sum up. Have you got your guitar? Would you be happy to just play a few chords for us or something while I talk in a minute?
Sure. You want to hear like part of a song?
Yeah. Well, if we say goodbye to everybody else first, and then you could maybe sing us out. And I'll just do a wrap up over an intro. So we'll come back to you in a sec. Liv, it's been lovely to hear just a glimpse at your story tonight and so much energy you bring to everything. So I hope you can rest up well after tonight. We've not worn you out. What would you like to say as we leave?
Oh, goodness. I would like to say that God loves you. And regardless of how dark things may be, God loves you. That's it.
Maggie.
think the invitation is just for us to make change from where we are, wherever you're standing today. You know, how can you contribute? What can you do? And what's the thing that you care about? So that's the invitation. And to join us if you feel moved at Global Entrepreneur Week next week. We'll leave no entrepreneur behind.
That's what I was going to ask. Just where can people find the League of Entrepreneurs, but also Global Entrepreneur Week?
Entrepreneurweek.net or leagueofentrepreneurs.com. Either you can go entrepreneurweek.net and you can register for the event. And I know AY has a whole bunch of free tickets. So if you can't pay, we won't leave you behind. So just hit him up for a code.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Wonderful. And Caroline here is saying she has the tingles, Olivia, from when you spoke just now. That's lovely. Yes, great. Thank you so much. We can't wait, Sarah, to hear some sound. So what I'm going to ask is, if you would give us just a few intro chords, I will sum up the show over the top of those. And then if you'd like to sing a little bit, we will go out. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, sure. That sounds good.
What a pro. So Maggie, I'll say goodbye to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Good luck with Entrepreneur Week. And Olivia, thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye to you as well. And that is the Global Goals Music Roadshow number 19, my friend. What have we learned from tonight? Well, yes, plug your passion in from right where you are. Don't wait to be handed a mic. Don't think that you've got to have some special badge or accreditation or recognition. Don't think that it's all about what you're bringing in your immediate gifting. It's about how you make sense of shaking down the she that happens to you with your gifts, with different seasons, because you have as much right to be part of the story as anyone. Sarah is going to share something with us, just a few notes of her voice as we leave. If you want to sign up to be on the show to share your story of how you're starting, it is ayyoung.com. Register to be part of the Battery Tour on the Global Goals Music Roadshow. And to take us out now, it is Sarah Lightman.
All right, this is Let's Your Light In. I know it seems like it's raining and that the storm will never end. You may be stuck in the darkness, but there is iron being sent to men. Get off your feet, just look, you see, you're all you need to be. Learn to be your new best friend. If you can't do that, you keep falling flat. Don't be an acrobat, you can beat it fast. Breathe your let your light in. Breathe and 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 let your light in. So get off your feet, just look, you see, you're all you need to be. Learn to be your new best friend. If you can't do that, you'll keep falling flat. Don't be an acrobat, you can beat it fast. Breathe your let your light in.